The XLT black appearance package inside of the 24 F150 looks sharp. The one thing that I would change though is rather than having the carbonized gray exterior, I would probably go for the black exterior or even the Oxford white, which would make those black highlights pop even more. But don't get me wrong, the carbonized gray is still a solid paint choice. The 2024 F150 brings a few major changes over the 2023 model. Some trim levels are gone, the 3.3 liter V6 is gone, and the XLT now has a new package known as the 303A, which gives some extra niceties, but the 303A is also a little bit more expensive in comparison. When you look at pricing between the 2023 and the 2024, it's more expensive just depending on how you have the truck configured, but there are also a lot of new features included in the 2024 model. There's the 360 camera there that's going to be standard in pretty much every trim. There are a lot of packages that are bulked together as well. There are some different configuration options now for the 2024 F150. So you still do have the regular cab, the super cab, and the SuperCrew, but you don't have the same box sizes that are available specifically in the super cab. The SuperCrew, you still do have the option for the 5.5 or the 6.5 foot bed though. So there are different options available depending on the trim level of the vehicle that you're looking at. Ford did also introduce the STX trim level, which was an add-on package to the XL last year. So if you're kind of budget conscious, the XLT is out of your price point, I'd probably recommend looking at the STX instead. But you can find a walkthrough video for that STX down in the description of this video. Normally you're going to find the XLT with 18-inch wheels that are chrome, but because this is the XLT Black Appearance Package Plus, and it's literally the Black Appearance Pack Plus, which is only available on the 303A XLT, you get bumped up to these 20-inch black wheels instead. I do love them. I love black wheels. But like I said, I think the one thing that would make this pop even more, if the exterior color was black, because that black on black truck just looks mean, or white so that the colors really pop. You're going to find different types of suspension inside the vehicle depending on how you have the vehicle configured, because year over year you still have the option for either the Tremor pack or you could look at the FX4 off-road package instead. So that still is available. The FX2 is no longer available though, so strictly FX4 with the all-terrain tires, different suspension, underbody protection, and a number of other great features. You're going to find LED headlamps inside of the F150 regardless of the trim level that you're looking at. Different options for dynamic bending though when you get into the higher trims of the vehicle. There are some fog lamps down below, and because this is the Black Appearance Package, you've got this blacked out grille in the middle with the blacked out Ford badge. And the 303A XLT is a loaded ride outside of that. You've got the forward sensing system, there's that front-facing camera, the side-mounted cameras for a full 360 view, including a useful one for, I'd probably say, off-road purposes that utilizes the side-mounted cameras for you to see what's going on side by side as you drive. You pair that with the available off-road mode in the cluster screen, it's a thing of beauty. If you're taking your truck off-road though, you'd probably want to go the FX4 package, but if you're never going to off-road or might off-road occasionally, probably wouldn't be worth it to go FX4. You might just want to do some skid plates aftermarket instead. But you're going to find 2 tow hooks in the front end of the vehicle here. And then underneath the hood, the 2024 F150. You've got most of the same engine choices that were available for the 2023 model. With one exception, the 3.3 liter V6 is no longer available inside of this thing. So that was the entry-level engine. The new engine choice that's standard is the 2.7 liter turbo. So it still is a really good engine itself, but this one, looking at all the orange wires everywhere, is the 3.5 liter PowerBoost engine. And honestly, I would say that the 3.5 liter PowerBoost is kind of the best of both worlds. Because don't get me wrong, the Lightning is a solid truck. The electric side of things I think is incredible. But you've got the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine that's paired with up to a 7.2 kilowatt hour battery. So you can use this thing as a mobile generator. It's pretty cool. I would probably say the F-150 Lightning if you're going to job sites that are kind of close, if you've got a home charging station or don't mind investing into that one. But like I said, this thing, having the battery backup there as well, because it's the PowerBoost, I think is phenomenal. And power-wise, this thing pushes out 430 horsepower and 570 pound-feet of torque, which is amazing. And then overall engine choices, you've got the 2.7 EcoBoost, you've got the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, 3.5 EcoBoost high output, the 3.5 liter PowerBoost, there's the Coyote 5 liter V8 engine, and then the 5.2 liter supercharged that's strictly available in the Raptor trim. But the question of which engine choice do you go for is going to depend on what you're doing with the truck. Are you towing sometimes? The 3.5 liter EcoBoost or PowerBoost could be what you're looking for. If you're towing a lot, you will get better towing economy out of the 5 liter Coyote V8 instead. If you're never going to be towing, the 2.7 or the 3.5 PowerBoost could be great options for you as well. But if you're just looking for something around town, that's where the F150 Lightning would really come into play. There are a lot of options available, but if you are kind of unsure, I have put together a little walkthrough video explaining configuration options, how that ties into towing capacity, max payload capacity with real world numbers. So you can find that video down in the description of this video. You've got easy access to at least top up fluids, changing oil, a little bit tricky. And then the forward warranty is the exact same year over year. So your basic warranty is a 3-year, 36,000 mile, 60,000 kilometers. The powertrain is a 5-year, 60,000 mile, 100,000 kilometers. And then for hybrid components, you're going up to 8 years of coverage, which is pretty solid. Filling up fuel inside of the F-150 is just along the driver's side. It's an unlocked cover for the most part. This is the PowerBoost, which means it's a fully locked cover, and that's just got to do with depressurization. So just along the driver's side, there's a button you're going to push. Might take a few seconds. There we go. And unlocked it goes. And it's, like I said, for the most part, every other engine is going to be an unlocked cover. This one's locked, and then it's got a capless system, but they all have anti-siphon technology built in. For the most part, regular 87 gas is all you need to use inside of this thing, so just 87 octane. There is the argument, though, for using a higher octane fuel if you're doing heavy towing or if you're going off-road. And then the 5.2 liter supercharged, you're definitely going to want to use a premium fuel inside of that thing. But outside of that, the EcoBoost engines are fine just with regular 87. You're going to get better fuel economy in a 4x2 versus the 4x4. You'll get better fuel economy in the 2.7 liter EcoBoost than you will in the 5 liter V8. The numbers aren't too skewed one another, but like I said, you do have the option for the 3.5 liter PowerBoost if you want to have good fuel economy and great power all at the same time. The back end of the F-150 is nice and simple. You do have different options for bumpers, so depending on the package that you get, it's either going to be a chrome bumper or a body-colored bumper. I personally prefer the body-colored bumpers. I just think they look sharper, and that's the same thing for the wheels. I prefer blacked-out wheels, but chrome is typically going to be the default. The reverse sensing system's there, along with the backup camera, and then you've got your exterior zone lighting as well. And because this is the black appearance pack, blacked-out Ford logo in the back. The vehicle does have the 7 and the 4-pin wiring provisions. You've got the receiver, and then the spare tire is located just underneath the truck. Towing capacity is all over the place. Are you 4x2, 4x4, super cab, SuperCrew, regular cab? What rear axle ratio do you have? So there are a lot of things you have to consider there. At a very minimum, you're going to be able to pull 7,400 pounds, but that goes up to 13,500 pounds. Again, depending on how your truck is built out. So I'm going to link off to the 4 tow guides down in the description of the video. They're very easy to follow. Or watch that configuration video that I mentioned earlier if you want to learn a little bit more about configuration options and max towing capacity and things like that. You've got the flexibility of using the key fob if you wanted to release the tailgate and then just drop down from there. This F-150 has the available bed utility package. And that's, I guess, one key difference from 23 to 2024 is that the work surface area was pretty much standard across the board, but bed utility package is how you're getting it now. So you've got all of your measurement units there, along with the clamps on the driver passenger side, and then your bottle openers along both sides as well. Now, when you look at the F-150 and you get the bed utility package, so the XLT specifically, that's when you're also going to get the tailgate step. And I mean, honestly, the tailgate step is a very useful feature if you tend to get in and out of the bed of the truck fairly often. But as part of the 2024 F-150, when you get the bed utility package, you're going to get the tailgate step in the XLT. But when you get into the Lariat, the King Ranch, or the Platinum, it's going to be slightly different. Rather than the tailgate step, you're going to have the new power tailgate instead. And that new tailgate is the one that kind of swings out to the side. So you can still go up and down, but the middle spreads open in order for you to be able to get inside and outside of there instead. And then you're going to have some box side steps. So you can get into the truck, the bed of the truck that way if you want to. So you're not going to get the tailgate across the board, the tailgate step across the board. It is available though. And then what you could realistically do if you still wanted the tailgate step and you're in the Lariat, the Platinum, whatever the case may be, if you can find yourself a tailgate from an F-150 that's been wrecked, you could just kind of do a swap because there are bolts that you can just unplug in order to plug them in if you want to and install them if you want to. So that is available as an option. And then the other one, payload capacity inside the truck is all over the place. So at a very minimum in the SuperCrew, you're 1,410 pounds, and then it goes north of 2,000 pounds. But it depends on how you have the truck configured, because the max might be around 2,200 pounds, but you get the SuperCrew with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine or the PowerBoost engine, the bed utility package, some of the interior packages, the moonroof and things like that. And that's going to subtract away from your max allowable payload. So there are a lot of things you have to consider there. I wish that there was some sort of an online calculator that gave you the flexibility of at least guessing what your max payload is going to be. But what I've typically found is that if you go by the Ford tow guides and the payload guides, that's the max number, assuming a stripped down truck. So if you start looking at like the 303 XLT or the Lariat, things like that, if you take about 20% away from the max payload capacity, that's roughly what you're looking at there. If there's a truck on the lot, you can go around the driver's side door jamb and you're going to see the yellow payload sticker instead, so you can see what the actual payload is. But don't forget, the payload, there are a lot of things to consider there. If you're towing a trailer with a 700-pound tongue weight, 1,450 pounds all of a sudden means that your max payload is now 750 pounds. You throw a couple hundred pounds of gear inside of the bed of the truck, all of a sudden you might have to look at something that's not the PowerBoost instead. So you might have to look at the Coyote 5-liter V8. So there are a lot of small things you have to really consider, and that's where working with a Ford rep really comes into play. So you can find Formula Ford's contact information. They were the dealership nice enough to lend this thing to me for the afternoon. Their staff extremely knowledgeable. They'll be able to make sure you get into the right F-150 or kind of give you the nudge if you're nickel and diming the payload and towing to go into the Super Duty instead. There are a lot of things you have to ask yourself. But inside of the bed of the vehicle, get that tailgate step up. Along the right-hand side, there's this little release, little storage cubby tray. Kind of neat. And then along the left side, there's also going to be a little power point. So because this is the PowerBoost, it's a 2.4 kilowatt that's available in the back. And you do have the flexibility overall of going up to 7.2 kilowatt inside of this thing. So it's very useful if you want to run your vehicle as like a complete mobile generator. It's amazing. This thing is completely naked, so it doesn't have a spray-in liner, drop-in bed liner. Those are available aftermarket though, so you can get them from the dealership, get them aftermarket installed yourself. As always, I'm personally a bigger fan of the Line-X liner over the factory spray-in. It's about twice as thick, and it also has a lifetime warranty. The plastic liners are nice and simple to install, and then you always got a ton of different options for tonneau covers and caps. The tonneau cover that I find most people tend to go for is the trifold hardtop, but you can go the soft rolling, hard rolling, trifold hardtop, and rolling hardtop. Like there are tons of different options that are available, just depending on what you need. There's LED bed lighting available inside the truck as well, depending on how you have it built. The side view mirrors in the XLT do feature turn signals, and then you've got your side mounted camera there as part of that 360 view. As always, there are a series of different options for the running boards inside the vehicle. So you're going to have different platform boards. There's the power folding and the higher trim levels. 5-digit number pad is available there. And if your F-150 doesn't have it, you can also get this thing installed aftermarket, which is great. And you can do it at a few different places too, which is kind of nice. I've seen people actually install it hidden along the door inside there too, which is kind of neat. Hopping inside. Beautiful. I'll touch on the inside in a second, but typical F-150 styling with your unlock lock buttons. The Lariat trim and up are going to have the option for the memory buttons as well. So good for your driver's seat, steering wheel, and side view mirror. But that's, like I said, Lariat and up. Your basic side view mirror controls, window controls, bit of storage along the side with the 8-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. The inside here, you've got buttons, I should say, to turn on the side view mirror lights. You can release the tailgate from the inside. You've also got your bed lighting button. And specifically in the PowerBoost, you're going to have a release for your fuel door. If you're outside of the PowerBoost, that button just won't be there. Figure out what's going on with your running lamps, toggle your fogs on or off, and then decrease the brightness of the cluster screen. Some versions of the F150 are also going to have power adjustable pedals. Because this is a 303 XLT, it is available there, so definitely beneficial if you're a little vertically challenged. The seat itself is going to be a power, so different options that are available. So it's either going to be manual or power, part power, etc., depending on which package you're in. But this thing, forwards, backwards, up and down, you can adjust your backrest, and then there's two-way lumbar support. Some of the other trims like the STX, the XL, etc., are going to be either partial power or it's going to be fully manual. And then typically inside of the F150, you're normally only looking at a sport bucket cloth seat. But this is the XLT black appearance package, which is going to give you a nice, comfortable leather seat instead. The headrest, it's unfortunate, just a two-way, so just up and down. So there's no backwards forward motion at all, but the seat is comfortable. Now there's one small downside about getting leather seats inside of the XLT, and that's that the seat is only going to be heated. So there's no ventilated seat option inside of the XLT. So you're looking at the Tremor, High Package, the Lariat, King Ranch, or the Platinum in order to get those seats. But still, it's comfy. Nice. You're going to be push button start. Inside of the XLT, built Ford tough with the infotainment system there as well. Love that blacked out Ford badge in the very middle. This one has the optional adaptive cruise control system, so that still is available. Toggle it on off, distance indicator, lane centering system, things like that. But if you want to actually see how the adaptive cruise system works, you'll find a walkthrough video down in the description. There's a voice command prompt as always, and then a series of different options to navigate through the cluster screen. But if you want a full walkthrough on the steering wheel buttons, navigating through the cluster, and even the infotainment, you'll find it down in the description of this video. The steering wheel in the XLT is going to be a manual adjust. It's going to be power in the higher trims. You've got your Pro Trailer Backup Assist there as well. So rather than carrying or steering the steering wheel, you just twist this the way that you want the trailer to go, and it's automatically going to crank the wheel for you. Dash visibility there is great across the board. Visibility is good. Then you've got a series of buttons along the top of the screen. So you've got this one because this is the Pro Power. Because it's the PowerBoost. So you've got your Pro Power on board there. There's a button for the 360 camera. And that 360 camera is standard in a lot of trim levels now in the F150. So you've got your 360 view there, backup view, front view, hitch view, front 180, and then this one, super neat, split view. So it utilizes the side-mounted cameras to let you know what's going on right beside you. You can add in a custom camera there as well if you want to. So useful if you've got a trailer, so you can place it on top of the trailer there instead. You've got just your general park button, but the F150 does have park assist. Amazing system, walkthrough in the description of this video. Traction control, things like that. And then the infotainment system inside of this thing is fantastic. You've got the option for sources, so AM, FM, Sirius XM. If your phone was hooked up over Bluetooth, that's available as an option as well. And yeah, so many good things. If USB stick with MP3s, it does support that on top of that. But the audio is Sum 41, love the band, but the audio inside of this thing is incredible. Like that sound is just pumping, and that's coming right out of the microphone, so there's no post-processing done whatsoever. Absolutely love it. And there are a few different speaker choices that you're going to find inside the vehicle. So inside of the regular cab, it's 4 speakers standard. Inside of the Super Cab and the SuperCrew, it's 6 speakers standard. There's an 8 speaker and a 14 speaker, just depending on which trim level of the vehicle that you're in. But the 8 speaker, like what we're looking at here, sounds really, really good at the same time. The vehicle does have factory navigation available, but the downside is that it's a connected navigation, so it's not a built-in. So what this means is that you need to have an active connection. So when you purchase an F-150, you'll get 1 year of connected services included. And it's good because you then have factory nav, but after the 1 year of service is up, it effectively moves into a dead moving map. So it just follows you as you drive, and you can't actually enter an end destination. So it's unfortunate, but it is going to be a subscription-based service now in the F-150. But you still do have the flexibility of connecting to iPhones or Android devices to use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze, and that's all done wirelessly inside of the Sync 4 screen, which is great. But like I said, full walkthrough, you'll find it down in the description because there are so many things inside the vehicle. There's a digital owner's manual, series of driver assistant settings, and things like that. You've got your volume rocker, tuning rocker, some basics for your audio there. You can turn the screen into a calming mode or just turn it off instead. You've got dual zone climate control in this thing. Do you want to go in windshield face feet? Heated first row seats are available as an option. You've got your different options there for your drive mode. So because this is a 4x4, you're going to be in 2 high most of the time, 4 high in slippery, snowy conditions, 4 low if you're heavy towing, pulling a boat out of water, going off-road, whatever the case may be. And then there are a series of selectable drive modes. In the drive modes, I love the animations here. It looks so good. Sport mode is my favorite. So the sport mode holds onto the RPMs a little bit longer to give you a sportier performance. So rather than shifting at maybe 2,000 or 2,500 RPM, it might wait until 4,000 RPM. It honestly is just a way better drive in comparison. And then the other favorite mode, there you go, off-road mode. So it's going to automatically shift you into 4x4. Look at that. You've got your rear locking differential there as well. Locks you into 4 high. Beautiful. I love it. You can see your pitch roll. And then even as you're driving, you'll see your drive shaft rotating. Like it'll start spinning as you drive. It is really neat. And then you can go up and down between a few different options. So just a pitch and roll screen independently, compass view, etc. Really neat view. You've got a few USB power points down there, wireless charge pad. There are a few cup holders as well. And then this one has the available mobile office pack. So mobile office pack is great because it's going to give you a lot of good features, but the features for the mobile office pack, the bed, the bed and tow package and things like that, they're all going to be feature specific or trim level specific. So you'll get different features in each trim level of the vehicle depending on which trim you have. But mobile office pack here in the XLT is going to give you the work surface area. You've got power points along the side there as well. And that's something that's different year over year because these things were going to be standard. And then the work surface area was its own add-on option. So it's now it was a standalone option, I should say. And now it's all packaged together. The shifter in this thing is great. Park reverse neutral drive with the dedicated manual mode. And then your plus minus buttons on the outside. So you can use this thing, we utilize the 10-speed automatic transmission, almost as if you're driving a manual transmission instead. It's amazing. But if you've never used manual mode inside of a truck or a car, whatever the case may be, it works the same for paddle shifters. I've done a video on the S650 Mustang explaining how paddle shifters work, but the exact same process applies to your hand shifter there instead. So even the column shifter works the same way because there are manual mode buttons as well. But if you want to walk through on how paddles actually work, you'll find it down in the description. And then even the configuration for the first row. So you've got the dual captain's chair, so it's the 40 console 40 setup. There's the option for the bench seat instead, but it's going to be trim level specific. And then whether or not you get the floor shifter, so the hand shifter down here, or along the column is going to depend on which trim level of the vehicle that you're in and how you have it packaged out. But the shifter down here is not standard across the board when you get the console. It might be up here instead. The armrest here, it's fully lockable. You've also got a great amount of storage space inside of this thing. Like I'm almost elbow deep. Takes a lot to go elbow deep. And then there are a few power points that are kind of hidden along the very bottom. So 2 more USB Type-C power points there. Oop. Wow, there we go. Nice. There you've got some additional power points. There's also a little hidden storage compartment there. Glove box is fully lockable. There's the option for the auto-dimming rear view mirror, depending on the trim level of the vehicle that you're in, but the auto-dimming function cannot be turned off. Series of different controls for your cabin lights, and then you've also got the optional sunroof. Honestly, I just love how much the sunroof opens things up inside of this thing. So good. And then from there, you've got the flexibility of either venting out or the close. Oh, there we go. In order to open. That's what I'm looking for. So single button press opens it up the majority of the way. Secondary button press opens it up that last little bit. But I mean, that Little bug guard. That's nice. So I typically, even with sunroofs, I normally don't drive with the roof open. It'll just be the shade open instead, but I think that's pretty nice at the same time. You've got sunglasses holders up along the top, so typical Ford styling. The visor is a ticket receipt holder on the inside there. Vanity mirror with no lights built in. Well, this thing extends out, blocking all of the sun. That could be hitting your face. I think that Ford's done a good job here. One other cool thing, well, I guess two other cool things. There's an optional head-up display now inside of the F-150. So the head-up display is going to be in some of the higher trims of the vehicle. It's amazing. And then there's also Ford's Bloopers system, and that's the full hands-free driving. So, not typically. So inside of every trim level of the vehicle, you're going to get 90 days of service. So you get 90 days of the Bloopers, so the hands-free driving. You could bump yourself up to a 3-year right from the factory as well. But after the 90 days, or even after the 3 years, it's just a running subscription at that point. The hands-free driving, very useful. If you're the type of person who tends to go on longer distance trips, you spend more time on the highway. Because honestly, being able to drive fully hands-free is such a good feature. I absolutely love it. It's good. Yeah, the seat's super comfortable here. And with the driver's seat set up the way that, actually, let's go full space first. So, oh yeah, seat's already as far down as she's going. All right. So with the seat as far down as it's going, 4-ish inches of headspace at the very most there. You could recline, so like 6'5", 6'6", you'll probably be able to comfortably sit inside the ride. All right, there we go. But with the seat the way that I would traditionally drive, inside of the second row, I've got a great amount of foot space, great amount of knee space, and up overhead, with me sitting fully upright. It's a little tight, not too bad though, but I've probably got about an inch-ish, maybe of head clearance space there. So not a ton of space, but more than enough at the same time. If you're a little bit taller, you could always slouch back a little bit if you absolutely needed to. But seat is really comfortable inside of the second row. In the XLT, you don't have the option for heated second row seats, but you do have the option for heated second row seats inside of the Lariat. I think it's the Tremor 402A, the King Ranch, and the Platinum versions of the truck as well. It's good. And feature-wise back here, nothing too crazy. So along the door, you've got a little cup holder there, a little bit of storage with a speaker. There's a pocket behind both the driver and the passenger side. Up overhead, there's a little hook and a light, and that's the same on the driver's side as well. Down low, because this is the 40 console 40 setup, there are a few cup holders. If you had the bench configuration, the bench seat in the middle could fold forward, and there would be some cup holders there as well. Down low, it's a 12-volt power point, and a series of other options there. So you've got a bunch of USB power points, and then there's also a traditional wall outlet, so 120 volt wall outlet down there too. Yeah, I mean, it's straightforward back here. Nice and comfortable for the seat. This is good. Now, a few things about the seat is that on the driver passenger side, you can lift it up, lock it into place there. But this is the partition lockable storage that you're going to find inside of the truck. So the storage itself, you can actually fold this thing down as well, and then it's fully lockable. So you can use the emergency access key on the fob to lock the seat down. So if you're transporting goods that need to be locked up, that is available. But if you want a full walkthrough, like how to actually use the partition lockable storage, there's a video down in the description of this video. The seat, like I said, fully locked up into place. So when it's fully up, it's locked into place there. You've got to pull the tab here in order to drop the seat down. And then, yeah, I like that. It's good, but look at that seat. You're gonna have different floor storage options available as well, depending on the trim level of the vehicle that you're in. But along the passenger side of the truck, same idea, you can lift up. Oop, yeah, lift up in order to get access to that partition lockable storage. Little inverter there. Then there's a little tab you can pull in order to show your jack stand and white spigot. So if you ever need to fill up using a jerry can, you're going to insert that into the tank first, and then you're going to put the jerry can in there, and then the jack stand's available there as well. Now, with the jack stand, you could change a tire out yourself, so the spare tire is just underneath the truck. But one of the nice things about being a Ford owner is that if you ever pop a tire, puncture a tire, you need fuel delivery, winching services. If you're in the Lightning and it's died and you need a boost, you've got access to forward roadside assistance, and that's good for the same length as the powertrain warranty. So in Canada, it's a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer. In the States, it's a 60,000 mile. And that's good, like I said, for fuel delivery, tire changes, winching services, lockout, and a number of other things. So that is available as an option. Looking at road noise right now, it's actually not too bad. This is just the regular tire that you're going to find inside the truck too. So you do have the option for the FX4 package that's going to give you an all-terrain tire that's a little bit beefier, different tread. I do find that the FX4 is a little bit noisier inside in comparison. I want you to almost think of it like a winter tire, actually almost to a degree, with the all-terrain tire. It's not nearly as much road noise, but there will be a little bit more road noise in comparison. But I mean, right now, it's not too bad. I'm just in 4x2 right now. So I'm not gonna really be solemn testing this thing much by any stretch, but I mean, still that was pretty respectable at the same time. But that was a look at the 2024 Ford F-150 XLT. You can find a build link for this truck down in the description. Tech walkthrough videos down there as well. And then if you want to know more about payload, towing capacity, how that ties into the configuration of the truck, you'll find that down in the description as well. But if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and until I see you next time, take care. Come on, are you not going to signal it? What are you doing, you clown? What is this person doing? No signal, just decides to casually brake in the middle of a road. Like, what? Feeble. It's funny. And why not go 48 in a 60 zone? It's not like there are other drivers on the road. What is this person doing? Come on, dude. No idea what's going on. No idea. Oh man, feeble. But it's going to give you these blacked out 20-inch wheels and a few other... Chopper. Get in the chopper. Get down.